So the Utah Jazz tonight against the Portland Trail Blazers. It was an absolutely fantastic game from start to finish. I mean, we saw Damian Lillard, we saw Anthony Simons both play pretty well. Now Dame did get out of the game, I think in the third quarter, due to a right calf strain. So that was a little bit of a bummer. But we did see Anthony Simons lead the Portland Trail Blazers to a comeback in the third quarter to make the game close. But in the fourth, I mean, Jordan Clarkson was pretty clutch. Malik Beasley had some free throws to send them over the hump to win the game. So we'll talk about it here in this video. What's up? My name is JDC. If you like what you see, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. And we'll get right into it. So we'll first go over the box score. And we'll go over the Utah Jazz side of things first because they did win. First, we got the man of the game for the Utah Jazz, Jordan Clarkson, with 28 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists with 1 steal. He did have 6 turnovers. I mean, he didn't really have a particularly great game this game especially. I mean, he shot 10 of 23 from the field and 2 of 7 from 3. Did play a team high of 35 minutes, so that's great to see from your vet. Mike Conley was out. I think he was subbed out in like the first quarter, I want to say. I mean, you know, without Mike Conley, you still have Kelly Olynyk and Jordan Clarkson as your vets, but Olynyk only played 33 minutes. He wasn't really playing down in the fourth. I mean, his defensive liability basically didn't really allow him to play in the fourth. This game especially, I mean, he was pretty good defensively, but overall not really that great. But getting back to Clarkson, I mean, he was leading this team in the fourth, had 2 great buckets, had 1 and 1. And then he also had a good 3-point shot to send the Jazz over the Portland Trail Blazers. I would say it was a pretty great sequence of plays from Jordan Clarkson. I mean, he did have some pretty risky turnovers in the fourth, some to, you know, allow the Portland Trail Blazers to come back. But regardless, I mean, he still played fairly well for, you know, a guy that ultimately shouldn't be on the team. I mean, obviously they have Mike Conley and Kelly Olynyk as the vets on the team, but Jordan Clarkson, I mean, they could still trade him for some value, you know, whenever they want to get like a first round pick in exchange for him, or they want to just get rid of him entirely. I mean, Jordan Clarkson, as long as he's here, they're going to be winning pretty much all their games, because looking at it right now, their roster is pretty much built, I would say, pretty perfectly. Now, I'm not saying that it's the perfect roster, but there's a lot of things that each and every player have that they fill the holes in, basically, that they have, or their weaknesses, essentially. So, great game from Jordan Clarkson. Mike Conley, like I said, didn't really play, only had 9 minutes and had 3 assists and 1 rebound. Jared Vanderbilt, 7 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist. Did have some pretty scary injuries today. I mean, he fell on his right elbow a lot today. I think it was like 2 or 3 falls that he did on his right elbow. Didn't really shoot the ball too much. I mean, he's not really much of a scorer. 3-6 from the field, 0-2 from 3. He's mostly just there to rebound the ball and play defense, which pretty much he did for the entire game. So great game from Jared Vanderbilt on the defensive end. Lauri Markkanen, obviously probably their best player over the season, 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists. Lauri Markkanen, I mean, he has probably been the top runner for the MIP award. I don't know, he just improved so much, and I think his experience from the Cavs and from the Bulls, I mean, bringing it into a team that's basically starting fresh. I mean, Kelly Olynyk is basically a new player, Vanderbilt, Walker Kessler off the bench, Colin Sexton, Malik Beasley, THT. They have a lot of new players on the team, and I think Lauri Markkanen leading the charge for this team, being that leader. I think it's great that they have Lauri Markkanen as a leader, because I think he's going to be one of their bigger pieces for them in the future. So I think Lauri Markkanen should be here for the long run. Had a really great game today, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 7 of 13 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. Great game. Kelly Olynyk finally for the starting lineup, 5 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. Had a really great charge play on Jusuf Nurkic down in the fourth. He was pretty great today on the defensive end. Now, obviously, Olynyk isn't really going to be a defensive-minded center, but at the same time, he can play defense if he wants to. Very efficient night from Malik Beasley. I mean, they were going to him a lot since Mike Conley was out, and, you know, guys like Jordan Clarkson was running the point, but Beasley, he played his role pretty well today, had a lot of open threes, had a lot of open looks today, and he was making a lot of his shots. I mean, 10 of 18, pretty efficient night from him. Colin Sexton also played 20 minutes and had 9 points and 4 assists. Played pretty well today. You know, THT also played 31 minutes, but had 8 points and 5 rebounds. Wasn't really too great today, 4 of 11. He was pretty decent down in the fourth, but that was pretty much it for him. Now, in terms of the Utah Jazz, this game, I mean, they were absolutely amazing. Down in the fourth, I mean, they did choke. I think like it was a 14 or 15 point lead in the third, and then the Blazers came back to make it, it was 118 to 113. They were getting pretty close. The Portland Trail Blazers, they were close to the Utah Jazz, and the Jazz almost blew the game, but they came back in the fourth, and I would say, Mike Conley was really a difference maker for them. I mean, they didn't really have a floor general on the team that wasn't Jordan Clarkson. I mean, Clarkson wasn't really having a good game. If they had Mike Conley on the floor, I think it would have been a different story because he's obviously going to bring him a veteran experience to the team. He's going to bring him that playmaking and that defense. But regardless, the Jazz still pulled out the win. So I think it was a great win for the Utah Jazz. They're going to be riding this momentum into the next few games for them. I mean, if you look at their schedule, they're going to be versing the Clippers on Monday, the Pistons on Wednesday, and then the Warriors on Friday next week. So looking at the Blazers side of things, I mean, we'll go over it pretty briefly. Dame, like I said, went out in the third. Simons was taking most of the playmaking abilities and the primary ball handler abilities on the team. Simons finished with 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists with 4 steals. Played some pretty great perimeter defense. Wasn't really too efficient today. 7 of 19 from the field and 4-13, but regardless, he hit some pretty clutch threes in the third to make it a close game, but ultimately couldn't do it. So Josh Hart, 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists with 2 steals. Dame had 13 points and 7 assists with 2 rebounds. Yusuf Nurkic, 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. And finally, Jerami Grant with 14 points and 2 rebounds. So off the bench, I think really the only person I can really know off the bench was Drew Eubanks with 13 points and 5 rebounds. He was playing well whenever Yusuf Nurkic was sitting, and as a backup center option, I think he's pretty legit. So I think the Blazers can definitely capitalize on Drew Eubanks off the bench. I mean, he's been probably one of their better pieces off the bench. And this year, Little was pretty okay today, 8 points and 3 rebounds. Shaedon Sharpe only had 4 points and 3 rebounds, and Justice Winslow had 1 point and 5 rebounds and 5 assists in 26 minutes. So that's pretty much it for the Blazers side of things. I don't really have too much to say about them. I mean, they were pretty okay today. Jerami Grant was hitting some pretty clutch threes in the third and the fourth quarter. I'll praise him for that, and he did have some good defensive plays in this game overall. I think Jerami Grant was a really great pickup for them. I think Dame going down in the third quarter really hindered their playmaking abilities on the floor. I mean, Simons, as great as he is, I mean, he's still someone that's going to be fairly new running to the offense. Obviously, being a primary ball handler, Simons, he can get accustomed to it. This game especially, he had 7 assists. Also played some great perimeter defense, but a guy like Dame who's pretty much proven. He didn't have a good game shooting, 2 of 14 from the field for Dame. But regardless, I mean, Dame, he's going to be providing that playmaking for the Portland Trail Blazers. And it really was a huge bummer that he left the game pretty early on in the third quarter. So that's pretty much my take on the Portland Trail Blazers and the Jazz. You guys let me know if you guys thought about the game. And I'm out. So that's the video. My name is JDC. And I'm out. Peace.